Welcome to Beyond the Chutes is presented by Parasite Systems. I'm your host, Doug Simcox, and I hope you're having a great day, staying safe, and enjoying this great fall weather. Today I'm recording in Taylorsville, Kentucky, and we are continuing our conversation with Robbie Hodges. Episode number 4 we're going to put together today. Today we'll be talking about the NFR, his Facebook public service announcements, go-kart racing in Michigan, and we're going to talk a little bit about his music career. Please welcome back to the show, Rockin' Robbie Hodges. How are you, Robbie?
Man, I'm good. I'm sitting down here. I'm about 10 minutes from NASA right here. Houston, we have a problem, NASA.
Okay.
I'm actually staying in the Space Center RV park. We have a rodeo down here this weekend in Largo Mar, it's called. It's a floating stage here in like a resort area, and got a pro rodeo here. PRCA rodeo starts Friday, and so I came on down a day early. I've got a really good friend who is a rookie, and he actually made the bull riding this year at the NFR, Tristan Parker.
Oh, wow.
So, Yep, and I was kind of my best friend, Blue Jeans, he was very, very, very instrumental in actually getting Tristan to start riding bulls again after he was in high school and stuff, and he kind of led the way for him, and he made the NFR this year, so I'm playing his going away party.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
Yeah. From the information I have on my RV spot, I'll be out there waiting on him. We'll get into that in a minute.
I heard you booked ahead. We'll talk about that, as you said. Yeah. Hey,
a nitwit.
I've been
that professional rodeo traveler I am. Know everything.
Well, you got to stand by that first word there, professional. Right?
Yeah, boy. That and me a lot of times,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a pro. I'm good at whatever I do, whatever it is.
You are.
However bad it is, I'm good at it.
Absolutely. I've been following you on Facebook. Yet again, I got to say you're very busy. Did I see you were down about 6 days ago fishing down there in Port St. Joe in Florida?
Port St. Joe. I was actually doing the rodeo at Arcadia. I've got a pretty good little deal with them. I do their fall run, and then I'll change over and do their big one in 2 years after they get through with all the contracts. We just have a rotation down there. It's always good to rotate clowns. You announcers can stay there for years, but we have to kind of rotate it so you're not Carol Burnett's funny, but the 43rd time you've seen the elephant skit that gets unfunny. But it's just great. And then my daughter was actually over that way, and she was running barrels at Mariano at the old Circle D, and my brother was down fishing. So I drove up there, dropped Krista off in Panama City. She actually went fishing with us, and I caught a monster trout out of there. I don't know if you...
I'm looking at it. I mean, this is
ocean trout.
How big is 3 foot? I mean, how long was it?
Come on, Doug. Well, if I was standing at a bar talking to a pretty lady, that thing was at least 4.5 feet long. I mean, it was the Alabama World Championship record.
Well, I would say good looking.
But no,
fish.
actually, it was about 30 inches, 22 to 30 inches. Let's go with 30. And
yeah,
that's the first trout I ever caught in my life.
I'll be darned.
And I told my brother, I said, are they all this? No, and he gets all mad, but he was great. He put me on the fish.
Okay.
And,
was that the big one of the day?
That was the big one of the whole trip.
Oh, wow.
And according to some people, that was the biggest one of the season.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Okay.
So, but I wouldn't. Hey, all I did was throw out that minnow out there. It's up to them to bite.
Did you have a bobber on? Did you have a bobber?
No. I was actually jig fishing. Pulling a little minnow jig across the grass.
Yeah.
And man, he hit it. And I thought I had, as they say around where I live, old Jowls was hooked to it.
Right.
Did you see my shark video?
I did, and I heard you doing the Jaws theme behind it. So very well done. There.
Yeah, Jowls. That's what we call it. Oh, Jowls was out there. But and the funny thing about it, my brother and Krista was, like I said, she was there, and we had found some old Indian relic stuff, some pottery and stuff where they lived on that island, out on that peninsula, and every once in a while you'll see it, and they'll have like a like if the water comes in there, it'll wash up some old pottery and stuff. And they had to walk through the water about 50 feet from where that shark was. And me and my buddy Bedford, we didn't go because I didn't care nothing about all that. And I'm sitting there watching that shark, and I'm thinking, well, they've got to come back through here. Should we tell them?
Yeah. Yeah.
We waited and showed them the video after they got back.
After. Okay.
Yeah, Krista kind of got the big eye.
Did she?
Not in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what a great trip. You know, like I was telling you earlier, a couple of other episodes, you got to have a good time doing this, man. You'll unfun yourself right out of this game. So I've never been guilty of not having a good time.
Yep. No, and that's perfect. You're taking the time. You're getting out. You're fishing.
And I got to see my daughter. You know, that was the main thing. I went over and watched her. Didn't have to do anything. And I'd kind of come back to the days when I first started. It was a PCA IPRA section rodeo. So I got to see some of my old buddies, the Drydens, and you know, and there was a new kid clown in there, and you know, and I got to. You know, and he was asking for pointers and stuff. I said, "You're so good. I'm fixing to steal some stuff from you." You know.
Yeah.
Why not encourage the kids?
Absolutely.
You know, he's a super good guy, too. Actually, it was Richie Collins. Remember Richie Collins used to fight bulls? It was his son.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And really good hand. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with him. He's new and fresh and aggressive, and, you know, and it's a lot easier to slow a guy down. You know that, you being in the racing business. You can sure slow a guy down, but you can't speed one up. But
that's right.
This kid, his timing was great, and I enjoyed sitting there watching him. He had some funny stuff. So it's encouraging to see some young kids coming up, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of young kids, how'd Carly do? How'd she turn barrels?
Well, her horse is hurt, and so she's training on some. She has about 8 or 9 out horses. I'm so proud of her. The best part of my deal, and I was going to bring this up, excuse me, it's a little polleny here, but I've got Reed, my oldest, you know, the one with the heart stuff back in the day when I finally quit riding bareback horses. He is actually he's a assistant producer for a radio station there in Fairhope. And then Carly is, like I said, she's doing great. She's running barrels and then she's training people's horses for them. And man, she is doing great. Ain't none of them ever cost me much. And then Blake, he's my youngest. I got to go up and see him for a few days while I was at Port St. Joe. He's up at Troy University.
Okay.
And and he just got in a fraternity farmhouse, and he is so excited. Yep.
And what's he thinking of studying, Robbie?
He's going to be a history teacher and a baseball coach, we think. So
neat. Excellent.
Right now, he thinks he is Romeo.
Of course, right? Takes after his dad. Why not?
Yeah, but he's doing great. I asked him about school. I said, "Hey, bud, how's school going?" Well, you know, this fraternity. What about the stuff I'm paying for?
Yeah.
He said, "Settle down, Dad. This fraternity has won the Dean's Cup for highest GPA for a fraternity for many years. And
nice.
They're planning on keeping it, so they stay on me." I said, you bet. Good. So, good. Yep, he paid for that too. My kids have been super. You know, they've been great. They've endured not a dad enough. You know, and the best part of that is Lynn and I get along great. You know, I mean, what we we decided not to ever cause the children to suffer from it.
Sure.
And, we're friends. Heck, I go down there. She said, quit staying at the RV park when you come here, stay on the ranch and teach these boys how to run a tractor, and do stuff.
There you go. Yep.
And Carly. So, and I keep her trucks running when I'm down there and her car. And if I go take the kids to supper, I take her with me, And,
very nice. You bet.
I'm at I don't want to say the twilight because I'm having more fun than I ever had in my life, but I'm at a pretty good spot, Doug.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the end a little bit in probably eight more years, 8 or 10 when I'm ineffective working the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just I'm at a good spot right now, man. I'm not taking the chances I did, and the old guy gets taken care of pretty good, and it's not a bad deal, I guess you can say I've earned it, I haven't, or whatever, but that's where I'm at, No, got a great girlfriend, and she loves my kids. Everybody gets along, and I got to tell you a little story about her. It'd probably be about as good a time as any. How I met Krista. I kind of did. I brought it up some, but some of these stories, we've had so many segments of this. I hope I'm not repeating myself. So if I am, tell me. But did I tell you about the first time I met Krista?
It had to do with Bullet, right? Bullet was
Yes.
the attractor, right?
It really was. And then I told you about the first rodeo she goes to, and
I don't think
then,
so. I don't know that I met her fairly early on in your relationship, right? We'll talk about that in a bit when you came to Louisville, Kentucky to the Great Lakes Circuit Finals, right?
That's where that was her first rodeo she ever went to.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, the first one she ever went to is where we met.
Right.
And, to recap a little bit, we met and we kind of phone dated there for a while because she's in San Diego's where she lives outside of there in a little town called Poway, rodeo town there. And she was volunteering up in the like the VIP section. I ran up there as 107 to get me an ice cold ice water. Let's just say, Doug.
Yeah.
And she was in there. And then that night when I met her, so, I said, hey, you're really cute. You want to be my girlfriend? And she's like, well, yeah, we'll try this for a while. So,
I mean, what other pickup line is there, right?
I'm telling you. Well, I've got a few, but they probably shouldn't say. But anyway, so we teledated, I guess you would call it.
Teledated. And then I like that.
Yes. So the first rodeo I invited her to was out to the Great Lakes Circuit Finals over there by you. She flew out. I picked her up. She brought a friend in case I was a serial killer.
Right.
She found out that was the easy part, was the serial killing part.
Right.
So, as you know, that's a great rodeo. I mean, that is a big deal there. And so she's like, might have found a catch here. Well, the next rodeo she goes to, I found out I've got the dang Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
Oh, wow. That was number 2.
That was her. Well, that'd be not counting the one I met her at. That was the second rodeo she ever went to.
Right.
Well, you know how they treat you there is that.
Yeah.
So she was just, wow, I've got me a baseball player. Well, in January, yes, and then about January the 19th of that next year, we're at Reading, Pennsylvania, and she is taking a shower in one of them gymnasium showers where you have to push the button, and it goes on and off like a jailhouse shower. And, you push the button, it'll stay on about a minute, and it's cold. And I said, honey, this is really the way rodeo is. It's not all that bougie that you saw, the last two. And she's hung in there like a hair in a biscuit now.
Well, that's pretty good. And you can't forget one of your best attributes was Bullet.
Oh, Bullet's one that found her. She said, can I pet your dog? I said, will you be my girlfriend? And there it was.
There it was. So she hung around. Bullet was with you all the way through that.
13 years of this. She worked. And my gosh, I would never, after 17 concussions, you see those commercials about the guy leaving his keys in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
That's me. And she really, from a long distance away, she's got a few more years and she's looking to get out of there. California is a fun place to visit, but it's a little hard living.
You bet.
And so she's looking, and I'm going to let her be in charge of Bad Clown merch. And, as long as I'm her boss, she's my boss. Don't let her fool you. But I've never met anybody in this rodeo business that didn't like two things about me, and it sure as heck wasn't me. Right. It was Krista and Bullet. Everybody, Bullet and Krista have gotten me more rodeos than anybody in the world. Where's that pretty girlfriend? And they used to say, where's that pretty girlfriend and that dog? I'll never forget at Sydney, Iowa, a couple years ago, I was out there working, and Bullet was, this is a story I forgot to tell the other day. We were at Sydney, and Cody Webster, my opinion, him and Dusty Tutness are the greatest I've ever seen. What a pleasure it is when we were working it. He comes out there during the, I guess it's the first event that I'm out there after the bareback riding. Says, Robbie, we got a little problem. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, we've lost Bullet. And I'm like, huh? Yeah. And he goes, we can't find him. I thought, oh shit, I thought he was dead. You know what I mean? Right. Lost can mean two things. Yeah. Pardon my French, but it scared the crap out of me. So I was like, what? How am I going to carry on here? Yeah. And he says, we can't find him, and Krista's in there and she's crying. Oh no. And I said, because he's been gone a while. And she said she was scared to come tell you. And I said, well, it ain't her fault. That dog, he's going to go have a call. I said, he's somewhere. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I got the audience. I said, most of y'all know I've got the coolest dog. He was laying out here in the Grand Entry the other night, and the Grand Entry had to go around him. I think I'll send you that picture.
Yeah.
And so I said, on the count of three, I need everybody to holler like I used to do when I couldn't. Remember when I used to come out of the trailer when I say, "Bullet"? Remember that, Doug?
I do.
Yeah. And about a minute later, when he decided it was his time to come on back, on his time, he'd mosey back on over there. So
yeah,
I got 6,000 people. This place was packed.
Yeah.
Friday night. I said, on the count of three, y'all holler my dog's name. Well, hell, half of them knew it. But anyway, they go, 1, 2, 3. This place.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes later, here comes Webster out there, and he gets his head down. He's shaking it. I said, where was he? Oh, he's in the beer stand.
Of course.
laying in the beer fridge. They had one of them plastic doors on it, so you didn't have to open a door every time.
Yeah.
He was laying in there, bellied up to one of them kegs, laid up there asleep.
Staying cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, Krista was mad at him for an hour or two. But anyway, but he was in the old beer stand. He would drink that old beer. He had a chicken friend. I used to do that chicken outer space.
Right.
And he had that chicken as a friend, Steve. Every chicken I've ever had was named Steve.
Right.
We were talking about this today. He, one time we were at Los Fresnos, Texas, and I'll never forget this. It come the worst ice storm I've ever seen, and the next day it was 70 degrees,
Right.
Ice was on everything about an inch thick. So we're all sitting kind of over there in front of one of these infrared heaters, that I bought that goes on top of a gas bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting out there on the patio. I didn't have the upright patio like I have now. I had just one of those carpet things. Well, Bullet's out there laying on one of them, and his chicken's laying right beside him. Him and that chicken got along great. Well, I might or might not have had a glass of Pendleton sitting beside me.
Yeah.
Pendleton whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, that stupid chicken gets up and flaps his wings, turns that bottle of whiskey over.
Oh.
I mean, that cup of whiskey water over.
Oh.
So I look down, and that chicken and Bullet are both drinking that.
Really? Whiskey?
That Pendleton whiskey.
Okay.
Well, that Bullet just rolls over on his whole side. He's out. He's having time. Well, the chicken is a rooster.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm glad I didn't take that chicken to too many bars, because when he got drunk, he liked to fight. Yeah. Okay. You know that one guy that's cool as hell that you want to be around all the time until he gets drunk?
Yeah.
So this chicken, Bullet's laying over there, and he hears the chicken get up, and this chicken's going, brr. He's all mad. He reaches over and just pecks the crap out of Bullet.
Oh.
And Bullet's like, what the hell did you do that for? So he walks over to this heater, and it was that silver around it, and he sees himself.
The chicken. The rooster.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rooster sees a rooster in the mirror, in the mirrored thing around infrared heat. Mm-hmm. And he jumps up there to flog it. And what he does, just say it smelled like burnt feathers for a little while.
Oh, my.
It got him, because it flew up and it got its tail on fire, and I'm out there stomping this chicken out. But it didn't hurt it. It just, I had to put it inside. It got a little cold that night again, and it burned about half the feathers off and burned its little beak. He did it twice before I could get over. Burned its foot.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so whatever y'all do out there in America, do not get your chicken drunk.
That's right.
And then
that's right.
Around a fire with a mirrored back on it, because he got. And Bullet, you can see him over there snickering. I'll teach you to peck me.
Oh, my. I had never heard that one before, Robbie.
Yeah. And then, do you remember, I used to haul my little cousins with me, John Orbaugh and Matthew. Yep. Okay. Well, Jonathan had gotten, I think he was fixing to join the Army. I ruined him. He traveled with me about 2 years, and he said, I need something a little easier, so he joined the Army.
Joined the Army, yeah.
Joined the Army, did great. Made it up to staff sergeant, motor pool sergeant.
Nice.
So I'm over there one day, and I had left Steve with him because I was flying to some gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And a few weeks turned into about 2 months. Well, my Uncle John's show had a chicken house, okay? And that's where I'd go over and get the chickens I'd use to send my chicken into outer space, to save one of them's life and let him live on the road instead of being, a Sunday dinner.
Right.
So, they say they don't, but they give them chickens steroids because they only live about 6 weeks,
Right.
and off with their heads. And, the whole, I ain't going to get into that, but, so they're humanely harvested. Is that the word?
Yeah, I would. Well,
Okay.
they're
You like
harvested.
that?
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
So this chicken lives for about 8 months. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I called Jonathan. I said, Jonathan lived down the road from me, and I was leaving to go to a rodeo, and I need to do that act. In fact, I was going to Talladega to the one of the cowboy tour things, I think. And I said, hey, Jonathan. I said, I need my chicken back. I need Steve back. And he just laughed. He said, have you seen that chicken? I said, no. And he said, come down here and get him. I said, all right. Doug, I was about 200 foot from that chicken.
Yeah.
And that thing where all them steroids had blown up, and it was as big as a beach ball with wings. And it was sitting down there on a stump with a tattoo smoking a cigarette.
Oh, it was not. My
It was
goodness.
a Billy Badass chicken, because he'd been on steroids. He looked like Hollywood Don Yates standing there. And I said, well, Jonathan, run on down there and get that chicken. He said, the hell with you. I ain't going there and get that chicken. You going to go get it. Every time we get through near that thing, it'd blow up. I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to go over and get Uncle John to give me a, I reckon he roided out and had a heart attack and died. So I went and got another. But that thing, I said, is that him standing on a stump? And he said, he ain't standing on no damn stump. I said, you run on down there and get him. I ain't touching that dang thing. So he got to stay in the woods. Okay. He had a dead coyote he was eating, I think he had killed.
Oh,
or
wow.
Something.
Wow.
Yeah. He was like Booster Rooster. Yeah, he did. Yes. So that was the end of Steve, and he wouldn't have fit in the mailbox anyway. I hauled him in. But stupid stories by Robbie.
Oh, lots of
them. I guess you saw my public service announcement.
I did.
The other day.
I've got you pulled up right here on my screen.
Yes.
It caught my attention. The one, I think you posted it yesterday or the day before, and it's from a year ago.
Yeah, I reposted it.
Doggone, this is really good. Now, for those that are listening, if you haven't been to Robbie's Facebook page, I put his Facebook address into our listener notes, so you can find it there.
Right.
But it's a PSA. It's a public service announcement, really trying to inform the public of what it's like to drive a big rig.
Yeah, I'm 64 foot of rolling death here. And destruction,
Yeah.
I'm I'm one bad driver from blocking,
all four lanes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now,
and
I hadn't heard this concept before, but I really, really, really liked it. When you were talking about merging, right? Sometimes you can move over, sometimes you can't, but if we just flow, you used what was called the zipper concept.
Effect. The zipper concept,
so
zipper
effect.
That.
Yeah, what do you...
All right. Okay, well, when people get on the entrance ramps at interstates, okay, we stay in the right lane just because, I run 72 miles an hour wherever I go on the interstate and everything. That's the prime for these old new Ram trucks, if I'm in a hurry, I might run. I'll look up, if I bump it up to 75, if I'm out and there's no wind or anything, and it's where that's your sweet spot on these trucks. So I was running along there, and then that way I can, I'm at a speed I can stop this thing because, like I said, this big 45 foot, toy hauler it ain't the going that worries you, it's the stopping.
Right.
And these trucks are great. And I've had 10 of them. I have a great deal with Ram so when people get on the interstate, they just assume that, well, I'm coming down the interstate, I own it now, and you're going to get over.
Right.
Well, they may not see that there's a Hugo beside me,
right?
Or a smart car or even a semi, because you can't tell when when you come up to me. So they just look at you. Either speed up and get the hell in front of me and fall into the zipper that way.
Right.
Or behind me.
Right.
Blend in. If they wanted us to, there would be a stop sign or a red light at every interstate merge, okay? At every entrance ramp. There's not, Doug.
Yeah.
So people, and like I said on it, when you're looking at me and you've been a quarter of a mile down the emergency lane running through the rumble strips, looking at me confused, that's not good.
No.
And
maybe
again,
adjust a little bit, right? Maybe adjust a little bit.
Gas that sucker up
Yep.
like Ross Chastain.
Yeah.
Or back off a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And get behind me. I'll let you do what you want once you get in my lane.
Yeah.
But I'm not required to get over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a courtesy. And when I can, I see you.
You bet.
Hell, I've drove up on you. But if I can't get over, I'm not going to change my pace because somebody will run over me.
Right.
You figure it out. Whatever you want to do.
Right.
And that's why I always, and another thing that really, and this will be my next one, is there is a reason that 64 foot of rolling death, I weighed this thing the other day.
Yeah.
And since I'm a camper, I'll tell you it's 31,000.
Holy cow. That's a lot of rolling weight.
Yeah, it is, and it's not a Mercedes.
Right.
Okay, when I got a full load of fuel on the truck and I've got, water and whatever, I'm 31,000. I weighed it the other day.
Wow.
But I'm not commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I live in this thing,
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm going down the road, I'm not a Mercedes. I don't have Dembesti brakes on or Bilbro brakes, Bimbro brakes.
Right.
I have regular brakes, and sometimes the trailer brakes work, and sometimes they don't.
Right.
That's why I leave about 150 or 200 foot gap in between me.
Yep.
When you think you have to get in front of me, it cuts that kill zone in half.
Yep.
There's no way that I can stop. And people think, oh, my God, it is a camper trailer. You have to get in front of it. You know exactly. Hell, you drove one for how long, Yeah,
absolutely. No, I get it.
Don't get in my kill zone. And when you merge over, I can back off a little bit and make a new kill zone, But that's what we call it. It's a kill zone. Because if you slam, or if the guy in front of you slams on his brake, I'm going to hit you and I'm going to smush you into the other one. And you're DRT. You know what DRT is?
No.
Dead right there.
Dead right there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. I'm so excited to see this. Episode 2 just came out yesterday, right?
And it was called,
Etiquette at the Fuel Pump.
Yeah. And look, and I'm not griping at the people that don't, because 99% of the fuel pumps you come to have gas and diesel on them, okay? Mm-hmm. That's our problem. Mm-hmm. You don't know. It's not up to you. It's just like merging. It's not up to you to decide, hey, somebody may come, and want diesel fuel, and here I am blocking the pump.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I'd rather you not take them two outside ones at the Quick Trip, though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's the only place we can get. And that's, and some people don't, that's fine. But what bothers me, Doug, is yesterday I was sitting there and a guy, there's only one island, and a Buc-ee's has 300 pumps.
Right.
They keep it way out from everybody. The last one over there is for, diesels and camper trucks, and it has DEF on the pumps. Mm-hmm. None of the other ones do. There's 280 pumps there. Mm-hmm. All of them have diesel, okay? Mm-hmm. This guy may have been getting DEF. I don't know what he's doing, but he blocked the entire thing for like 10 minutes. And he's just sitting there.
Yep.
When you get your diesel and you're at those pumps, get the hell out of the way. Don't pull up.
Well, if you fuel up at a Flying J or a Love's or a Pilot, and I'm talking the truck lanes now, right? The semi lanes. After you get your fuel, you do roll up. So if you got to go inside and pay, you bet. You get out of their way.
It'll save you.
You bet.
It'll save you some ankle injuries.
Exactly.
Drive up to the damn thing.
Right.
This guy sat there for no less than 15 minutes. What I do, I click it on. I've got a 100-gallon tank. I click it on. I know how long it takes. I went in there, got me a biscuit, came back out. Mm-hmm. I thought, well, he'll be moved then, Mm-hmm. And nope. He sat right there, and I just looked at him. So I get through pumping my fuel. I didn't even get DEF. I was aggravated. I didn't even fill my, I have a 50-gallon on these new Rams, and I didn't even fill it up. I was aggravated. And he just sits there, and I'm trying to move. And I did sit down on that horn and honked at him for, like a honk.
Right.
The angry honk.
Yeah.
You know, where you really fold your wrist over and hit it hard. Yeah. You honk so much you turn your windshield wipers on.
You bet.
And then he does a button hook and goes over on the other side.
Oh, my. He had something going on, right? He had something going on.
Maybe. I don't know. But good gosh, don't go shop.
No,
so
that's for sure.
And then the other informative thing is don't buy diesel where they're dumping diesel fuel in.
I heard that. I don't believe I'd heard that before, so I really appreciate that. Sounds like when they're refilling the tanks, you're gonna stir up all the silt and everything.
Well, they use a 4-inch dump line that looks like a sewer hose, and they run it down in that tank. Well, it ain't hooked to nothing. It just goes in there, okay? And they pump it out there. I mean, you got 5,000 gallons on that truck of diesel. And they push it in that tank. Well, all that settled algae and that mud and dirt, whatever's washed in there, and water and everything else it settles. That's why, if you'll notice on them tanks, the what we call the draw line doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the tank.
I see. Okay. Yep. So it lets all that stuff settle out. Sure.
Yeah. So when they do that, it stirs all that algae up when they dump that 4 inches of diesel pouring in there. And I mean, I've had it happen where I made it about 10 miles and my filters were just clogged up.
Okay.
So especially if they don't have a good filter system on their pumps, and some places they don't,
Right.
So that's just another pump. But that's what I'm gonna start doing, I think, is driving public service announcements.
I like it. And I've got about 3 or 4 more topics around driving big rigs. If you want me to I'll send them to you.
I would love them.
You got to have this. I see it's only a 10-part series that you're talking about here. You only got 2 episodes.
I just threw that out there.
I'll
probably do another one every week or so, just a reminder. And if you've got any ideas and you want me to, if you've got some ideas on what people do and y'all want me to bring them out to the general public of non-driving Houston area, Dallas people, Atlanta, that don't,
For sure. No, I've got a bunch of them. We'll talk about that after the show, maybe. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, I would love that.
So let's shift gears. I mean, literally, let's shift gears. Let's go racing.
I'm sorry, I'm coughing the whole time. I'm out here.
It's that time of the year. Yeah.
I guess it is. I thought that was the spring.
No, it comes in the fall too. We talked. I was down to the F1 race in Austin.
Oh, you went down there? How was that?
Oh, I loved it. Had a great time. Me and 430,000 of my best friends were there.
Wow.
Over the 3-day period.
430,000.
Over 3 days, running total. I think there was 180,000 there, they said, on Sunday.
Good Lord.
But got to see, what a beautiful track. Just a neat track, great facility. Went with some great guys. Just had a lot of fun. But coming back, I got a cold too, Robbie. Okay?
You did?
Okay. A little bit of sinus, a little bit of sore throat, a little bit of coughing and that sort of thing. Feeling much better now. Been taking care of things.
I ain't going to get to dang COVID here talking on this microphone to you, am I?
I am wearing a face mask right now, even though I'm the only one here in the studio. Yeah.
I'm wearing one.
Okay.
I'm sitting out here by myself. Ain't nobody for a square mile, and I'm out here with my mask on just in case.
That's absolutely perfect. So speaking of racing, I have teased this out and on all the 3 previous episodes, talking about racing go-karts in Lansing, Michigan.
Don't even start about that, Doug.
So let me set this up, okay? One day we were doing a rodeo in Pennsylvania, and a buddy of mine are traveling home, and I looked at him, I said, if I wasn't announcing rodeos, I believe I'd be racing. He goes, what keeps you from doing it now? And I'm like, well, just money. And he said, well, maybe you ought to check out this go-kart stuff. There's a neat old track, been up there since the 60s, up in East Lansing, Michigan. It's called the East Lansing Kart Track.
What was I doing? Do you remember? I was doing a rodeo by there.
You were in Charlotte, Michigan.
Yeah, for Fuzzy.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Labor Day.
It was on Labor Day.
Yep. Okay.
And that would have been 2000. I just left NASCAR, so it was probably 2007, probably.
I'm going to say. I would say so. Now, and I had my friends with me. Remember the computer folks, Hems and Garrett John.
Hems and Homs or
Garrett John.
Yeah.
Okay, from Diesel, the computer company out of the Netherlands. They had never been to a rodeo. They were visiting. We'd been over in Benton Harbor, Michigan, doing work for 2-3 days, and I said, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to Charlotte, Michigan. You're going to meet Robbie Hodges.
Oh boy.
Do you remember
I
meeting these
remember
guys?
clear as a bell. I do. They were so cool.
Yeah. And do you remember what you said to them right off the bat?
What does Uten, Gleten, Glouten, Glopen mean?
No. You said you can tell the Dutch. You just can't tell them very much, you said.
Oh, is that? Well, yes, that's exactly. You can tell the Dutch, but you just can't tell them much.
So
I did.
I said, okay, rodeo on a Friday night. We got an opportunity, open track practice at East Lansing Kart Track in Lansing, Michigan. I've got a little Leopard-powered 125cc water-cooled goat kart. And if you remember, Garrett John was quite the racer.
Yes, he was he should, Ariel Senna comes to mind. Ayrton Senna.
Absolutely. And so we take him, you come, his brother comes, we all go to the track, we put him in it, and instantly out of the box, he's fast, right?
I mean, like, yeah. Okay, shut up, Doug. You know he was fast.
You were all excited. I think you had a driver's suit on, you had racing shoes, you'd brought your own helmet, you had driving gloves, you were all decked out. You said, I'm going to show you road course racing on asphalt. It's what you said.
I'm going to show you, well, pretty much. I said, this hillbilly SOB is going to show you the short way around this damn thing. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and get out your stopwatch.
That's right.
About 7 minutes later, I said, Doug, go ahead and get out the wrecker.
Was there?
I never made the first damn turn. Remember?
There's 12 turns, 13 turns on this track. And I just got to ask, I don't remember, I don't have video, none of that. Was there ever a turn where you didn't spin?
No, I drove it off in there, and I was just going to sail her off in there, and heat the old right rear up, let it just fold right over and maybe pick that left rear up, show y'all city slickers how this redneck does it on the dirt track. I never made a corner. Well, I did after Hans and them had to come out there and, after they came out. And
he put a lot of pressure on us, didn't he? He was a good racer. Yeah.
Now, let me, so about the 13th time that y'all had to come over in the tires and get me out of it, I said, Hans, can you show me the short way around this damn thing?
That's right.
Was his name Hans? What was his name?
Well, one was Hems. They were brothers.
Hems, not Hans.
Hems and Garrett John. Garrett John was the one that jumped in the cart and was fast. Hems.
Okay, Garrett John. Yeah, Hems and hers is what I called it.
That's probably right.
And I'm going to show your sister how to get around this thing.
That's exactly right. You had it. Man. I'm a dirt track racer from Georgia, you said.
Yeah, watch this right here, boys. Y'all sit down in that chair right there. Let me show you how it's done.
That's right.
And then bring the tractor over to put the tires all back up. God. Mm-hmm. I showed you the short way around it. I showed you the short way around it through the grass, through 2 tire barriers, the concession stand, and the damn bleachers.
There was a lot of yellow flags. I remember that.
Yep. Oh, my gosh.
Great fun. That was a long time ago.
Now, you put me on old slick dirt track, we'll get it on. Yeah. But, man, that thing was – and I'm going to tell y'all, folks, it ain't like the go-karts you ride it at the fair or you ride down here at the beach. This thing, the only ones I've driven since then, and I've kind of learned to lift and do, is like at these Andretti's there, and then the ones at St. Tite. Do they still have them up there?
I think they do. I didn't hear this year, but I think it's still going on up there. Yeah.
And I used to play a little trick at Andretti's on all my buddies. I'd take them, because they had some turns, and they're electric. And, they were like a Tesla mode. Mm-hmm. And so I would always they'd always say, what are you doing back there? I said, I'm letting air out of this left rear tire to get me a little rollout in this thing. When I go off in this corner, it won't push as bad. And they had no idea what I was talking about. So I just blister them, Yeah. And I was going to go show you, and boy, I'm going to tell you what that thing was. Fast. It would make this, it almost, because let's just say I'm used to roll cages and, old dirt track cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. You're out in the open on this thing.
Absolutely. No seatbelt.
It scares me to watch. No, hell no, no seatbelt, no nothing. no leather. If you fall out of the thing, it's running. What? So let's talk about this. You go down there, you remember, and you wind your way around. I kind of remember.
Yeah.
And then it was a hard left, and then the long straightaway. I'm not going to say I didn't make the first couple turns, but that straightaway and that braking straightaway down there where you let it roll through the corner.
Yep.
Not me, buddy. I was just going to slide it around there. How fast do you think you were when you needed to lift? What would you say you're at the end of that straightaway?
This is a long time ago.
What?
Yeah. 50,
that straightaway 55? Was 300 feet long?
Yeah,
probably.
Might have been faster than that. And you're only 2 inches off the ground, right?
Yes, and you're down there looking at them little wheels, and that thing is making. Was it a 2-stroke?
It was. And
I thought it was with the big muffler right off the side.
Right, and liquid cooled, 125 cc, probably upwards of 80 horse, 90 horse, something like that. The thing would cook. The thing would absolutely
on a go-kart.
On a go-kart, absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's what they were racing there. That's what these guys were racing. That was one of the classes.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they showed me the way. I tell you what, but I would take my friends, and over here to these go-kart tracks, and I'd just show them how. And then if there was ever a slick track or one of them little fake sprint car tracks, I'd be waiting on them when they got to the corner,
Yeah.
But not that thing, boy. Okay. Shoot. Yeah, I was going to show you how it's done.
That's right. All right, so
I learned my lesson.
You did. Well, we got
so after I got through cleaning up my cuts and scratches, I went on and did the rodeo that night.
You did. And then was it a year later? Now I'm just trying to remember the timeline that you picked up the Great Lakes Circuit Finals as the barrel man. Well, here in Louisville, was that 2006?
6 or 7. I did it for about 3 years there.
Yeah.
And then I skipped a year, and then I went back and did it the year I had the finals, 2010.
Okay.
That's the one I was talking about. And y'all used to come see me there.
I did. We come down from Michigan, and we'd hang out and
I know it.
Yeah.
Great times,
I was a spectator then. I'm watching. It was great fun. And
Rodge was the announcer.
He was.
He's still the
announcer. And he's got the NFR. He's a little bit everywhere. 2006.
And the guy the guy that worked that ran that whole, what did they call it? The North American Livestock Show?
Yes.
Okay. Guy named Harold Workman.
I remember him. Yep.
Nicest older gentleman, and his granddaughter thought I was funny. That's why I had it several years. And at one time, if you just want to know about stroke and how strong a man is in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, he's retired now. One time after Mike Tyson got in his trouble when he needed a snack and ate Evander Holyfield's ear, and they booted him out of boxing.
Right.
I was sitting there one day watching ESPN, and it had a screen of, because Harold ran that building,
Right. Freedom Hall.
The governor, Freedom Hall, the governor of the great state of Kentucky is in one screen. And then, like when you watch the news, they'll have two people arguing back and forth. And Harold Workman was in the other screen.
Right.
And the governor of Kentucky said, Mike Tyson is a disgrace to the sporting industry and the sport of boxing especially. I can assure you he will never fight in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And Harold Workman looks over there at him like they were sitting at the same place and said, the governor is mistaken. Mike Tyson will fight here, and it'll be the biggest pay-per-view in history.
Oh, wow.
Well, turns out Mike Tyson fights there about a month later.
Yeah.
That's some dang stroke there, buddy.
Absolutely. Lots of influence.
And he did, and he fought, and it was the biggest pay-per-view in history, like that at the time, when he come in there. But he sure did, man. He sure did. That was because it was something to do with Ali, because he's from Louisville.
Right, right. And a lot of great cowboys, come through that. That's in 2 weeks. They're going to have that circuit finals here again in Louisville.
Oh, yeah. Yep. John
weeks.
Harrison will be doing it. John's done the NFR for the last 38 years, I think, or something. No, we just found out he made it again. He got it again. And He's perfect for that job. He's one of my best friends. And, Doug, if I've never taken anything out of this business in my latter years of this, I have some of the best brothers and friends in this business in the world, and I'm their rebel rouser.
Right.
When they need something yelled at, because they're all scared to do it because they'll lose, I can't say that, Robbie, but you ain't scared to.
Right.
And, and each one of us, each one of the big, you can call it the big six or the big 5, 6, whatever it is, me, So's, Rump, John, Matt Tarr, Johnny, whoever, one of them guys, every one of us have a job in this deal. Rump, he's the guy that keeps everybody, he's the one that finds us rodeos, let's say, and like Sosby, he's the calmer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
John's our money getter. If you can work one after John Harrison, you're making money, because he charges, he ain't scared to. And then I am I'm the axe man, or I'm the, for lack of a better term, I'm the stirrer. When they get something, I'll get it to meet, and I'm the one that throws them a card, walks out of the meetings. I bring up the rules that everybody's scared to bring up, or I'll bring up, situations, and they let me be that guy, and I love it. And I said, please, they said, Robbie, you're going to lose rodeos, you keep doing it. And I said, please don't ever change this. This is my job. This is my contribution to our friendship. So they said, all right, if you want to do it, you go right ahead, bud. You idiot.
Yeah.
But we all have this job, but we have become such good friends.
That is so neat. In the past, that might have been looked at a little more competitively. You're a competitor of mine.
Well, exactly. And we are to a point, but, we try to keep, we try to keep it mixed up enough to where nobody has, all of us have certain rodeos. Like when I was doing the interview from Pasadena, I've had that rodeo for 14 years, John's had Ogden, Utah for dang near that long. Rump's had, my gosh, he's had San Antonio for 10, Matt Tarr's had, Matt's had Sosby's had Cheyenne for that long. Matt Tarr's had Albuquerque. So nobody messes with those. And when it comes time to bid those, because about 3 or 4 years you have to bid them. And I'll say, hey guys, I need y'all to bid this rodeo. Okay, $3,000 and no bullfight per performance. Well, Robbie wins again.
Yep.
And it's just a good brotherhood, and we trust each other. And nobody tries to jap each other's gigs, and because there's plenty to go around. But we try to mix them up, and he'll say, "Well, this is my last year here at so and so. Call Robbie. Hey, this is my last year here. Call Sosby.
Yeah.
Call John.
Yeah. And we had talked in one of the episodes about acts versus walk and talk, and in the old days, not that long ago, if you was dependent on acts and that was your gig, you had to watch your rotations. Right? You better have a lot of acts.
Well, yeah. And nobody hauls 5 acts anymore.
Right.
To do a 10-day rodeo.
Right.
Where you can rotate them out. You start at the front, you go and you end with it,
So the walking and talking has got to make that a ton easier, where you can go year after year after year.
Well, right. You can walk and talk about anything, but once people seen your act, 43 times, they get tired of it. And then then they're going to the beer stand while you're doing your act, and you can tell, and the committees understand that, I don't ever like to be maybe 2 years on most of them, but like I said, everybody has that one anchor rodeo, but I don't like to necessarily, I don't want to ever wear out a welcome. Yeah. Sometimes I do that by the first perf,
Understood. So in the order of getting things, and I believe you had made a mention, I think you got the NFR after 5 years with having your PRCA card.
Yeah.
Was it required? Is it required that you work a circuit finals somewhere?
Not for the NFR, but it is for the Ram National Circuit Finals.
Okay.
Or what they call it now. What do they call it now?
The NFR Open, I think it's called.
I hate that. That is the stupidest, most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. They don't call it the World Series Open. They don't call it the Super Bowl Challenge. It's that's some nitwit came up with that. And It's terrible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everybody hates it. Not one person. I've never heard one person ever say, "Well, we like this," called the NFR Open. You know.
Yeah.
And they just it's not. The NFR is the pinnacle of our game.
Okay.
It is the greatest accomplishment you can have in Western sports.
Okay.
It's bigger than the PBR. It's bigger than anything else, you know. And to have that, why would you deaden that?
Right.
With
right.
You know, naming something else. What are we going to have? You know, NFR shampoo.
Well. So for our listeners, how do you, as now you're a rodeo entertainer for the NFR, you're a barrel man for the NFR. How?
Just barrel man.
Just barrel man. Okay.
Yeah. Last year the lights went off and everybody was surprised they saw John. Mm-hmm. John actually got to do a little bit, and it was kind of neat. Okay. Yeah, the lights. Somebody hit a transformer out there or something. Wow. So they actually let John in. About the time he got the microphone on and found one, which I think they should showcase more of us. I mean, we didn't get there but mainly the NFR is a protection thing. And, you know, John works the barrel just fine. And, you know, and the guys that have done it now, anybody right now eligible for it can work the barrel good enough to work the NFR, because they're not, if they fight a lot, they won't take them. You know, if they're really mean, because the directors and stuff just won't take these bulls that are you know, because, and if they're shoot fighters or if they're anything like that, because it's such a timeline there, you know.
So who selected you to the finals? How does this go?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is kind of a cool story. Yeah. I'm going to hear it. So, okay. In 2010, the last year that this was the way it was, we had some guys in here that changed it. I never agreed with the rule. Of course, they said, well, Robbie, we never changed. I learned to work the barrel down in Okeechobee, Florida. I mean, with the meanest pen of bulls in America, you know, absolutely. They will kill you, you know, and if you don't have a barrel man down there, they're going to hook the photographer. They're going to hook everybody. They're just not nice. So I kind of got the reputation as the barrel man of the PRCA, you know, I'm not bragging, but I mean, it's just, that was my end. So, that's where I got it from 5 years in. And so in let's see, it'd be right after I'd met Krista in the end of September. The next week is when they voted the first time, October the 5th, after the end of the season. The season ends the last day of September. Right. Okay. So that next week they have the first votes for NFR. The bull riders voted then. They'd vote for 2 barrel men, and then they'll vote for they'll vote for 3 bullfighters. They only had, they did vote for their favorite 3, okay? And then you would go back in, or they may have voted for 5 bullfighters, then they would take the top 3. And one of them was the alternate. So what they would just use the alternate there and have 3, because, I mean, these guys are trying really hard, and this is a NFR, you know? So, I get the phone call. I was sitting with Kelly Kenny, rodeo announcer. I was in San Dimas, California, and we're in there playing a guitar, and he was helping me with some guitar stuff. And I get a phone call from the PRCA, and I look down, and I said, that's crazy. What have I done? You always say that when you get a PRCA call. Right. and it was Sarah Muirhead, and she says, Robbie, I've got some news for you. And I said, what? She goes, well, there's been a tie for NFR Barrel Man, and it's between Keith Isley, Troy Lurwell, and you. Oh, wow. 3-way tie. Okay. And I didn't know. So like I said, the most votes get it. Yep. And then the second place guy is the alternate. So I'm thinking, well, Troy Lurwell or Keith got 18 votes, and me and the other guy got 1 each, and it's a tie for the alternate. I see. I see. Okay. So I said, man, that is incredible. I thought, well, this is the coolest thing, and this is the pinnacle of my life right here. You know, I am in the running with the 2 coolest barrel men in the world. You know, Keith Isley and Troy Lurwell. So I said, I just couldn't believe that it actually happened to me. It was unbelievable. So I get to, I leave San Dimas and I come home. They said the next votes next week. and then we'll know who it is, So I drive home from San Dimas. And I'm excited. I'm like, hey man, I'm third as barrel man for NFR. I can't believe this. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened. I've made it in this game. So I go over to Mesquite. I parked in Mesquite for that week, and I had to go and do the CBR finals. So I say Mesquite. I went to Kansas City. I apologize. I drove over to Kansas City, did it, and I came back, and it was the week after. It was 2 weeks. And that week, I went and parked to Kansas City just to hang out. Mm-hmm. Well, I called Troy Lurwell, who's and Keith both, and they were like, "Dude, this is so awesome for you. We're so proud of you just getting in there. Because they're veterans of the sport. Yep. Very, very. They were just great with me. They weren't like, oh, I hope it's going to be me or whatever. No, they're not like that. They're professionals. Yep. They knew how excited I was. So I'm sitting in Mesquite by myself, and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday comes. And by Wednesday, I'm thinking I might actually, what if I'm the alternate barrel man? Mm-hmm. So they had to have a revote, so I was a week late.
I see. Okay.
So they said, we're going to revote. It'll be 2 weeks, get everything back out. I said, okay. Mm-hmm. I called Lurwell. He was at Waco down there at the Central Texas State Fair. They did. And he goes, are you nervous, buddy? And I said, very. And he said, I tell you what, dude, why don't you ride down here? And we were going to know Friday about 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you ride down here since it's me and you are on the list? Keith was back at home. Mm-hmm. And he says, let's find out together.
Okay.
And
wow.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? That's how good of guys these are. They weren't cutthroat. So I'm sitting down there, and Troy's getting his motorcycle jump ready that afternoon about 5 o'clock. It's getting on down there then, and I'm sitting out there, and we're having us a couple beers. And, this is a celebratory time. I was going to get to shake the hand of the guy that had the NFR, Troy Lurwell, or call Keith immediately. Yep. But I felt like part of that group for just 1 year. I was at least going to be considered as part of that group.
That's neat.
So we see Sarah come walking from about 100 yards away out of the building to come tell us.
Yeah.
And Troy's putting his bomb on, and this is the kind of guy Troy Lurwell is. He says, I hope it's you.
Okay.
And I went, oh my gosh. I didn't say, well, I hope it is too. You know what I mean? I guess I was so overwhelmed at his professionalism and that our friendship meant more than him having the NFR. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he said, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm getting married out there. If you're if it's you and I tied for the alternate, you're getting it.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all happening within 2 minutes of her walking to us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, the phone rings. It seemed like a 45-minute thing. The phone rings, and Donna Keffler calls, and she goes, Robbie?
Yeah.
And I said, hang on, Donna. And she had known about it. She was calling to congratulate me and didn't know that I knew about it yet. I said, hang on, Donna. I got to talk to, what's her name right there? She said, just leave me on the phone. I said, okay. Yeah. Sarah walks down, and she goes, congratulations, Robbie. You're the Wrangler National Finals Barrel Man. I just dropped my beer and sat down on a bale of hay and squall for 20 minutes. Really? I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable that this happened to a dumb, redneck, bullied kid from Georgia that had no business in this world getting the NFR,
Yeah.
And Troy, and I mean, people called. I got to call people that raised me. Mm-hmm. I got to, and it was the greatest experience of my life ever. Yeah. It was great to do once. I mean, if I ever got to go back, they'd want me there to protect. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's why if you look at my Facebook, I try to be so encouraging for these guys that are on that list that don't know they have it yet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because, I want them to experience what I got to experience. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And for our listeners, what was that like? I mean, you're on the largest stage in the sport of professional rodeo. You're at the NFR, 10 days in December.
Yep.
Okay, 10 performances. Go ahead.
And And because I always was I was always the amateur guy. My buddies, they were still all my great friends that I rode with, but they all went to the PRCA and rode. They did very good over there. I couldn't handle the heavier horses, so I never went over there. I went just to go with them, and film a permit, did okay, but I never was. I'd have had to get in a truck with Will Lowe and them. They had to show me how to ride them heavy horses.
Right.
My guys were great and they were doing good. And Phil Broom almost made the finals one year. But just for me to get that was just like I don't even know how to describe it. It's the greatest. I remember just laying there as a kid and going back to when I was riding old Meg out in the barbed wire pen, and how many times that when I practiced, I slid up to win the world.
Yep.
As the round 10, and all I had to do was be 80 points to win the world, and how many dreams of that.
Yeah.
And here I'm going to be. The funny thing about it, Carl Stressman and all the people at PRCA, we all went out Thursday night before we found out on Friday, and they knew it.
Okay.
And couldn't tell me.
They couldn't tell. Okay.
So, and I had no clue. I mean, they were laughing and cutting up, and even like the wives of the girls that worked at PRCA, I was friends with some of my husbands, and they would be like, if you tell him, I will kill you, I'll lose my job.
Yeah.
And stuff. But they already knew that I'd won it because I'd gotten a pretty good majority of the votes, I guess you could say,
Okay.
So, but I remember the first day. So I go out there and I get out there and I remember driving and I stopped and picked Keith Wright up from Ricochet. And he rode out there with me. And I stopped there in Bryan, Oklahoma and got him. And we come over that hill, and the reality of Las Vegas hit me when I come over in between, right there and right there at the big mountain. There's, and I saw them lights. Heath could just tell because he's been on the big stages before and stuff, and he's like, "You're fixing to have the time of your life here, man." He said, and it just hit me, and how a dumb kid from Georgia, had gotten this. So the first night we go down and me and Sosby had partied it up pretty hard after, knowing about it. Cause he helped me get started and he hadn't had it yet, but he was so encouraging, he said, and here's what he told me. And it made a lot of sense. He said, "Robbie, you just proved to everybody in this business that the nobody can get this thing." And he didn't mean it in a disrespectful way.
Right.
It shows everybody in this business, because I was the first non-big name guy. Flynn had it for 10 years straight. Troy had it for 4. Keith had it for the 1. And he'd been the alternate 43 times.
Yep.
But he just, and Sosby said, "You're the guy that showed everybody in here that the nobody can have a chance at this, man. You just got to do what you do." So we're having us a big old time. Well, Thursday night rolls around, and I remember going in there, and I went to all these meetings. Kenny Bergeron, it was his first year of Fight Bulls there too. So Sean Davis is about a 5'4" tall guy, the scariest man you ever seen in your life, and he talks like this.
Yeah.
He's an old bronc rider, and he's run the NFR for so many years, and he runs it. Hey, he was a dang sure an admiral, no BS kind of guy, I didn't think. So we're sitting there, and he leans back in that chair, and it's like being in the principal's office when you go in there and talk to him. He said, "The boys, first thing I want to do is I want to congratulate y'all on being the NFR barrel man and bullfighter." That's yesterday. He said,
Yep.
"Oh yeah," and I'm like, and then this has really hit me. You don't let your phone ring in them meetings, and it's serious business. Then all the drinking and cutting up at those square bar down South Point, that stuff's over. It's fixing to, we're all business now. So he pulls us in there in that first meeting, and he says, he leans back in that old chair with them old glasses, looking over them glasses. He says, "You boys see this right here?" And he opens that blind up, and you can see the whole background of Las Vegas Strip out of the Thomas and Mack office in there.
Yep.
He said, that's what we're competing with. He said, I have 168 people telling me what they think I need to do. He said, I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. He said, what I need out of you is you to do exactly your job and nobody else's job. Don't get in the way of somebody doing their job. I have to run this off in a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. And if I don't, we're in big trouble because they want them back in these casinos. And Las Vegas Events puts it on me. And I said, absolutely.
Okay.
And he said, now what do you want out of me, Kenny? He said, well, I just want to fight bulls good. He said, I want, do the best job I can. Mm-hmm. And he said, what about you, hillbilly? That's what he called me. Because I think they had kind of pre-loaded him on how I was.
He knew who he was sitting in front of, didn't he?
And he said, what about you, hillbilly? What do you want? And I said, you know what? You see that little dog right there?
Yeah.
I said, I want you to look at that little dog when you're going home next Sunday. I want you to look over at that little old dog, Shorty, and I want you to say, man, that Hodges was an easy man to work with.
There you go.
And I said, we'll be good. He said, me and you's going to be, we're going to be good friends, and we'll be just fine if you'll give me that. And I said, yes, sir. Yeah. Never had another problem. So that night,
that's excellent.
Yeah, we get there and, and everybody thought that, I was going to do the genie pop out and I was going to be the crazy guy and do all this. And they said, Robbie's going to show them how it's done. I'm like, boy, y'all going to be real disappointed in old Robbie.
So no, none of that. Like you'd done at the IFR.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I wouldn't do anything. All I did was roll that barrel out there, get in it. And the fifth bull out, Doug, I'll never forget this part. About to fit. I'm sitting there fixing to go in. Barrel. We're not even allowed out of the dressing room dressed as a clown. Mm-hmm. You can come out there and they have a place for you to stand right by that let-out gate where you always see Gizmo standing there. Mm-hmm. When we're, on the TV broadcast, we're not allowed to come out of the dressing room dressed as a clown for a distraction until till the barrel racing starts.
Okay.
So we sat in the locker room. Well, they put a keg of beer in there. Well, hell. I'm going to have me one, knock the edge off there.
Yep.
Well, about 4 in, I'm like, I better back off. So I did. I was fine. I was out there drunk, but, I did find the keg. And so we roll that barrel down that tunnel. That's the scariest tunnel you've ever seen in your life. It was way scaring them, two little girls there in The Shining.
Really?
When you're rolling.
Just very intimidating because it's long and narrow. And
you're rolling that barrel down there and you're fixing to go to the NFR first round. I look over at Kenny Bergeron and I said, I don't know about you, but I'm pissing my pants right now.
Really?
And he looks at me and he said, hey, Hodge, I ain't so sure this was a good idea. I said, listen, if you help me roll this barrel back up this tunnel.
Yeah.
And you'll help me get it out that door. We can be fishing. We can be red fishing by about Saturday if you want. Yeah. He says, I reckon we better stay.
Yeah.
So there was always a big rumor you weren't allowed to move the barrel at the NFR.
Okay. Once it's in the arena, it stays put.
Yeah.
That was the rumor.
The rumor rule, yeah. Okay. I mean, you get fined or fired or whatever. Yeah. Well, I'd made a living packing that barrel in there on them wrecks and going digging guys out. Well, about 5 bulls in, I've got the picture in here on my wall. Mm-hmm. Cajun Monkey hangs up Clayton Williams' foot in the rope. You probably remember that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was back about, 60 yards. It ain't much longer than that. So I was pretty far back yonder. I was probably closer to the calf box than I was to the.
I see. And that's where they wanted you.
Yeah, they just wanted me back so I could be in line of sight with Sean.
Okay.
In case there was a problem and he needed me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, if I was doing too much, he could tell me to calm down or, if I'm clapping or whatever.
Yeah.
So I said, Cajun Monkey hangs him up and all I see is Clayton go down. And when I do, I see Monkey just jump on him and start just pouncing on him. Just out of instinct, I grabbed them handles and I went in there and got to him. When I got close enough, I said, oh crap, it's his foot's hung. So I jumped out of the barrel. Well, it got knocked over, and I climbed out of the barrel and went to him, and we, and them boys got him loose and everything. Mm-hmm. So and this place goes crazy. I mean, they go absolutely berserk.
Yeah.
You know, because they'd made a good save on a guy that was in, you know, the bullfighters did. I didn't think nothing about it. So he says, I go up there to the Coors suite when I get through, and Krista's up there. She's up there smooing with Luke Perry was up there.
Okay. Yeah.
I got the picture. She's up there with Luke Perry, and they're talking, you know, and she's loving all over him. Here I am working my guts out this little easy rodeo, you know. I said, well, I guess you like this game, don't you? This third rodeo you've been to, and you sit up there, you know, hugged up on old Luke Perry. God rest his soul. What a good guy.
What a good guy.
And so he, I'm up there and I'm having, and Donna and them are like, oh my gosh, you moved the barrel. It was so cool. And about that time, 2 or 3 of them little whippersnappers out there, you know, Sean's going to have to talk to you. You're probably going to get fined for moving the barrel at the NFR. And I'm like, well, okay. You know, I was prepared for it. I didn't think about it, Doug. I just went and did it.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, and they're the whole time they're in there, you need to come with us. We need to talk to you down there with Sean. He has a meeting with you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, as long as I live, Pete Coors owns Coors, you know, that little beer company. Is standing up there. And, you know, he's like, great job, man. Congratulations. And here come the guys, you know, they just wanted me to get fined because I was the new guy, you know, and I'd kind of stepped over some people, I reckon. And they said, I ain't going to mention no names, but, you know, the whole time I'm down there, and he says, well, let me tell you this, Sonny boy, as I'm walking out of there, if you get fined, I'm paying it. That's the first time we've seen our barrel in 25 years here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I said,
okay.
All right.
Okay.
You know, as long as I don't get fired.
Yeah.
So I go down there, and Sean's sitting in that office. And he said, boys, I need to talk to you just a minute. Let me have Robbie here a minute. And he says, Robbie, couple, 3 things I need to visit with you about. And I said, yes, sir. You know, I was very respectful, you know, because I knew I was fixing to get to choose. And he says, first thing, need quit clapping just a little bit early so they can hear your name. I know you're excited. Second thing is, I know you watched Keith last year, and this is another cool deal, but he said the camera's above you now over the calf box, so you're not blocking the line of sight of the barrel.
Okay.
And he said, and another thing we need to talk about, said that barrel. And I went, oh, here it comes. He said, man, it sure is good to see a guy go down there and get somebody when they get in a bind.
Really? Okay, excellent.
And I said,
yeah.
I said, you have got to be kidding me. He said, no. I said, man, the whole way down here, and you can see the disappointment in them guys' eyes, you know, the assistants and all them, you know, that came down there, the new hillbilly guy's going to get fined right off the bat. We'll show him who's in charge. He said, you go down there and you get them guys when they get in the bind. I like to see that.
Okay.
Don't you make me have to tell you to move that barrel back.
Okay.
I said, yes, sir. So, boy, I had a ring. Doug, I made some of the best saves of the week, and nobody ever saw them. But I'd run down there, and I'd get that barrel back. I was back as fast as I was down there back to that ring.
Yeah.
And once old Sean realized that I guess I knew what I was doing. I still learn every day from it. But once old Sean learned that I wasn't going to go bailing off at there 4 seconds, you know, and mess up, you know, somebody's 90-point bull ride, he let me move up. And by the time by 6th round, I was up even with Bob and Boyd.
Really? Okay. So they let you get back into position where you normally would work.
Yeah. So it was a lot easier to get back to that spot. But this is something that'll stick with me for the rest of my life. And this is probably still one of the top 5 things that ever happened to me in this business. And it's kind of weird, but the year before I watched Keith in the barrel, and I had to buy what they call a Mad Dash ticket.
Okay.
Because we were still ESPN. I mean, every night sold out.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
But I go in there with this Mad Dash ticket, and the only seat I can find to watch Keith Isley, Doug, my back is touching the top of the Thomas and Mack, all the way in the back corner, and I can barely see who it is from that top position.
Yeah.
You know, I would look down to my left and see the calf box is how far away I was from the bucking chutes.
Okay.
And I remember sitting in that seat by myself, me with a box of popcorn and a beer, watching, just wondering what the hell that would ever be like.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's no chance ever that I'll ever be there.
Yeah.
The next year, I remember Ronnie White, them, I told you about that. Ronnie White, my friend from NASCAR, came to my first night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were even sitting way over yonder, and there wasn't nowhere to sit. So, I mean, they had some pretty good seats, but that's the ones that came to my rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for them up in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The first night, I roll a barrel out. You know, and I'm doing the look around because I'm taking all this in, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
And this affected me probably more than anything. I look up there, Doug, and there's one empty seat up there where I was sitting.
Oh, wow.
At the top of that building.
Okay.
And that seat was empty.
Yep.
And 1 year later,
crazy. Absolutely. Yeah.
The seat I was sitting in, I don't know if it's the exact one, but it was right there by it, I reckon.
Yeah.
And that seat was empty. And there I was in that barrel for the best seat in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, that tied everything together
Mm-hmm.
that I'd ever been through,
Mm-hmm.
that I'd ever done. I remember sitting in that locker room, putting makeup on that night, put my shins on and get my high top tennis shoes, and I'm thinking, what in the hell have you done with your life here?
Yeah.
It is, anything past this right here, if a bus hits me, I've done it. My kids are sitting in the crowd, or they're sitting up there in the Coors suite. Donna's taking care of them,
Mm-hmm.
And I want everybody in this business to get to experience that.
Excellent.
And that's, and I tell them, I say, it's not going to happen to everybody. Don't base your career on getting the NFR.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if it happens, it's winning the Super Bowl. It's winning the Cup.
Okay.
It's making that corner down there at the end of that straightaway.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
And just to be on that list of, I think there's been 30.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's been 30 guys get it yet. Maybe there has been. I'll have to count them now. But there was 20. I was 24 or 26
mm-hmm.
different barrel men to ever have it. And it's a brotherhood. You get a different respect from it.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, 10 years heck, almost 14 years, 13 years later, I'm still an NFR barrel man, because I remember the next year I was the alternate. She goes, Robbie, I'm sorry you didn't get in the finals again.
Yeah.
When when they call back the next year, that's when they started letting announcers. Totally against that. I'll say it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had the finals for 4 or 5 more years probably, because I was the only one working the barrel. Well, we had some guys in there. I didn't agree with their decision, but they decided that they would make everybody vote on it now. Well, I've never saved a rodeo announcer in my life. I would save you, because it's, so when they took the bull riders out of it, they have 48 votes. There's 20 bull, so.
Yeah.
And John Harrison and everybody that's done it has been awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody that's done it's been really, really good at what they did, except one, but I'm not going to say anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He didn't have handles in his barrels.
Okay.
In his barrel,
wow.
But he was popular.
Yeah.
Not going to say that's all. That's the only negative thing you're going to hear me say on every one of these podcasts.
Yep, that's right.
But was when they changed the rules on it, Okay.
Because you had mentioned that, might have been the first episode we talked, that you alluded some changes in policies and rules that might keep you from getting some rodeos. And that's what you're referring to.
Yes, that was exactly what I was referring to, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, I think it was self-served that they did that. They said, we're going to lose the NFR if we don't let them, if we don't have a bunch of votes, they're going to take it away from us. They're going to give it back to Flint. Well, first of all, Flint wasn't even in the PRCA then. Hell, he had him a $250,000 a year job at, with PBR.
PBR.
They're going to take it away and pick who they want.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And now that we have blue jeans in there, he's the one that told me that. Said, Robbie, they changed that. You'd have had it for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe not, but maybe he's making me feel good. But he said it, you know,
for sure.
And you want real life? That's real life to me. I don't think it was taken from me. Nothing is ever taken, but it just made it more difficult, and it's spread it out some now. But now John's had it for 7 years in a row, or 6 or 7 years. Not saying he's not the best man for it, because he is perfect for that job.
Yep.
And when So's got it that year, I was in Jamaica, and I remember that's the only person I've ever politicked to get something in my life.
Okay.
And I don't politic. I don't call and beg for votes for the NFR. I can look in this mirror right here in this glass and say, you know what? I got it because of my merits, and that's it, you know.
Yep.
But I didn't call, vote for me. You know, I need to get the NFR. Cody Sosby is the only one we ever politic for because he was, and Matt Tarr will be the next one we're politicking for, you know, because they deserve it. He's done a great job. He's improved. He's, you know, we've watched him grow up. We brought the new kid up. And Sosby wasn't no new kid, but he was the last one of the main five, you know. And I remember her calling. She says, Robbie, this is, I can't remember. Sarah again, I guess. She says, I just called you with the results. I said, did Sosby get it? And she just paused. She said, you're the third person in a row. That was the first thing you asked.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, I get to tell you, yes, he did. And man, we were, you know, and we were sending him. We were all in Jamaica on our little vacation. Sosby wasn't. So we all drunk down Sosby from the swimming pool in Jamaica, you know. It was so exciting because that almost closed. That closed the loop for us.
Yeah,
every one of us at Rump had it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so, I don't know how to describe it. It was just it was an awesome experience. You know, would I do it again if they want me to? But, well, I was going to tell you, when they called to tell me, you know, Robbie, sorry, you got the alternate in 2011. I was hurt then. I really didn't need to do it again. I was my shoulders and stuff, and I was going through some injury stuff and my head injuries. And I said, well, do I need to send my jacket and buckle back? You know, she goes, no. And I said, you mean to tell me I'm always going to be the 2010 NFR Barrel Man? Yeah. Well, hell, why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's a good brotherhood.
It's a good brotherhood. So here's a question before we move on to music.
Okay.
Several-time nominee for the PRCA Clown of the Year.
Yeah.
The Coors Man in the Can.
Yeah, that'd be about 15 of those, I guess.
Okay.
14 or 15 of them, you know.
The PRCA Comedy Act of the Year.
Yeah, that was many years ago. I don't really like to put in for that stuff anymore because if you don't get on the top 5, then you know you're really doing bad.
Okay.
You know, so,
yeah.
I mean, I do every once in a while. This year I put in for it, didn't get it. But, you know, I'm the older guy, and I'm good with that, Doug. I got my time. Rudy Burns told me, and I told you this earlier, you know, dude, there's a changing of the guard.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as the NFR Barrel Man. I want to be the guy that when they have to look over in there at me and they say, you know, that guy, he helped everybody, and he helped me get here.
Yeah.
He helped me get here. And, you know, that's my award every year when somebody says, man, thank you for your encouragement. You know, I can call you. We went over, and I'm not going to go back over that. But,
so,
you know, when those guys can call me, that's a belt buckle.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. And that's been one of the themes that we picked up during this is just how important it is to be able to help others and be a mentor and that sort of thing. So going down the list, Extreme Bulls, you fight them in the PRCA. You're doing PBR all over the place. Bullfighters Only, Bullfight Finals in Las Vegas in 2015. PBR, Bullfighting Barrel Man, 2016. So,
and
then here's the question.
Okay.
What's on your bucket list?
That's you know, I don't really have a bucket list. I look back at something and I'll say that was the coolest thing I'll ever do.
Okay.
And when we get into music, I will tell you. Okay,
all right.
Let me. If are you talking about rodeo wise?
It doesn't matter. Rodeo music. What's on the horizon? What if you say that's where I want to go? Wouldn't that be cool? If
doing Red Eyed Lion, my song Red Eyed Lion, the Tamer of the Red-Eyed Lion, the Legend of Donnie Gay, to open the NFR.
To open the NFR. That's your bucket list.
If I could do that song about him, you know, I wrote this song. Let's go ahead and divvy. You ready to go to music? I think we've rodeoed them to death.
So just to set a little context for our listeners, okay?
Okay. Because you were there during the tough years.
You didn't pick up a guitar until 2008 or so, where you started to get
I
serious.
was a little earlier than that. It was probably 2004.
2004. Yeah. Okay.
I would sit around and just pick one because I thought it was cool to, just be able to sit out here and pick D, C, and G and, God, I didn't even know how to sing and play at the same time. That was the hardest learning curve I've ever had.
Really? To sing and play at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot going on, right?
Yeah. And there's, to go right back to something, you said a bucket list. I don't even want to say this. There's an award that they give out every year that the actual bullfighters and barrelmen vote on. It's the one of the. If I had to win an award, and you were mentioning accolades, one of the awards, and I can live without it, but it would just. I hate to even say this, but Rex Dunn was an amazing person, and they have the Rex Dunn Memorial Award, and I've seen some guys win that I loved, and just to be thought of that. And the Coors Man in the Can, it's eluded me for every year. I've won second last year, and I don't do enough rodeos there anymore to win it. But I get on that top 5 every year. But that Rex Dunn Award, is recognized of somebody who's helped somebody in his fist. I know that sounds like that's why I help people. To me, that sounds like, but that's not. That's not.
No. That's just, I get it though. I mean, it's neat that they recognize.
Please, stop me if it sounds like, well, I help these people so I can get that coveted buckle. That's not.
Here's what I think. I have heard this from the very first episode all the way through. Good golly, we're pressing 6 hours right now of conversation. Every time you talk about mentoring and helping and encouraging and just giving tips and pointers and all that sort of thing. And what I got to say tied to that is when I ask what's on your bucket list, this was about the 4th thing that even came up.
Well,
so this doesn't feel front of mind, and this doesn't feel like this is a self-motivation here. So, but I get it. I mean, to be recognized by your peers, right? And Rex Dunn, right? Tell us about Rex Dunn, dude.
Rex Dunn was, Rex put on schools, and he taught the base of all bullfighting. I have a tattoo under my arm. People think it's recycled, but it's not. It's what Rex used to draw on a business card and stick it in their hat, was the rumor. And it said round and round, and it was looks like a recycle sign.
Oh, really? Okay.
Round and round, don't fall down.
Okay.
And that was what he'd say. If you don't learn nothing else here, round and round, don't fall down. And what he meant by that was, don't get straightened out. Don't get lined out on these bulls when you're fighting them. Well, I was awarded, and a lot of the bullfighters got that tattoo, and I say allowed to get it. I mean, you can get what you want, but I've got the bad clown on one on the outside of my arm, and underneath there in the really hurty part of your arm is around, and that was the first tattoo I ever got. And that's the only 2 I have.
Okay.
That and it's that symbol. And they said, Robbie, you're a bullfighter with your barrel. We want you to go get that tattoo. Okay. And I thought that was that was an honor.
You bet.
And from my friends, but Rex Dunn, he was the bassist of what all this new bullfighting and blender and and he raised all those guys, and he had to respect her. But nobody knows how many NFRs Rex Dunn had. Hell, nobody cares. They damn sure remember how many people he helped.
Right.
And all I want is enough people to carry me. If I can find 6 to carry me when I cash my chips,
right.
And then them look over in there and say, "Man, that guy helped me."
You bet.
And the messages and stuff. But I appreciate you saying that, Doug. But I'm gonna be honest with you, because you've asked me to be that. That would be a big honor. I'm not in the spotlight enough to do that now, which is fine. And everybody that's won that is amazing, amazing. Frank Newsom won it last year when he retired. Cody Webster won it the year before that. Blue Jeans won it for helping everybody. And and just to be thought of in that manner. And I feel like I am.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have a buckle to prove it.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be it.
Okay.
All right. Enough
All
bragging about
Well,
me. Let's talk about music.
Well,
let's take her down a
and
notch.
I watched. First off, I've been watching a few of your interviews online. You folks, you can go find him on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard Coors Can Barrel Man,
yeah,
that was released in 2022. When was that released?
2020. 2021.
2021.
Yeah, we wrote it in 2020 when I met the guys that helped me write it.
Yeah.
Co-wrote it with me when they moved the finals to Texas.
Okay. So what was tell us how a song gets written. Did you have this in your brain?
No. I told y'all, remember I told you about me doing here comes a helicopter over us, probably going to NASA. How cool.
Yeah.
Hang on, Doug.
Yeah.
It's an old Cobra. Sorry, Doug. We interrupt this so the bad clown can get this. That's why when I fly with Donnie Gay, he always says, now you better pay attention right here. You're going to get us all killed. Because I will, be squirrel. But they quit, Doug. You make me cough. Anyway, where were we? Oh, Coors Can.
Coors Can.
So
Coors Can, yeah.
Tommy
Coors
Snyder.
Can Barrel Man. Now, Tommy Lee Snyder, is that?
No, Tommy Snyder. Tommy Lee
Snyder. No.
Tommy. Tommy Snyder is that's fine.
Yeah.
Tommy Snyder was with Charlie Daniels for a long time. And that's that's on another episode when I first was asked to play the Charlie Daniels tribute.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting in there and after I told him what song I wanted to play, and he figured out I wasn't going to do one of the usual Charlie Daniels songs, and I was going to choose a little more difficult one, Trudy. He says, why don't you come over to my bar and let's have us a whiskey and let's work this thing up so I can play it with you because I want to.
Okay.
And, and with Carolyn Carlew, who was Charlie Daniels' backup singer. So I go over there and, we're sitting at this little table, both of us with a guitar, just sitting there picking at a bar table.
Yeah.
Has a couple whiskeys in us, and he said, you sing all right. I said, well, thank you. And he said, I've got this thing on my mind. I was at a rodeo one time when John Harrison was there, and they announced him at something like the Coors Can Barrel Man.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me, and I need you to write that.
Okay.
And I said, okay. I said, I've never written a song. He said, write it down. I'd written one song, but mainly what I wrote down was the experiences. It's called Buckles and Blood. I wrote it with Hugh Mitchell and while traveling, but I didn't know stay in the box. I didn't know timing on a song and, and what they call rhyming, certain ways things rhyme, like time and a dime rhymes good, but time and, jive work together. Let's say, you know what I mean? I had no fundamentals.
Okay.
He said, so Tommy pretty much said, here, read this book about how to write a song and then throw the damn thing away and never use anything in it. I said, okay.
Okay. So
we're sitting there and he goes, I want you to help me write this. I think you'll be good for it. I'm here to help you. I think you'll make it. I've got a new record company. I want you to be my flagship. I'm like, over this one thing? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Instrumental. He said, I've got the studio. I've got everything.
Wow.
So we sat down in about 3 weeks and wrote this song.
Okay. Now I'm going to stop you for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, because there's some things I don't want to leap over the top of.
Okay.
You had an opportunity to sing Trudy.
Trudy on the stage at Billy Bob's.
At Billy Bob's. And
1,000 people there.
Okay, for our listeners, they probably would remember it if they heard it.
Right.
So go ahead.
Call up Trudy on the telephone. Send her a letter in the mail. That one. It's a great song,
Yeah.
And it was about an old guy who had got in a fight with a gambler and he got put in jail and he's calling up Trudy. He was coming back and he had whooped this gambler and they threw him in jail. So Johnny Lee Walker was the guy's name, and he's going to come whoop him and kill him. Listen to Trudy. Just look it up. If you can't find the Charlie Daniels version of it, Blackberry Smoke did a great one. There's been 100 versions of it, but if you haven't heard it, which most people have, it's awesome. It's a great song.
All right. I'll put that in our listener notes. So fast forward, you sit down, you read a book, you throw it away about writing music.
I never did read it.
You did?
It was more of
okay.
No, he just said, read this book about that and then throw everything you've learned in this book away and just write the damn song. So it got to where I learned experiences and I would learn how to write them down, like Rodeo in the Rain over the Crazy Girlfriend. I wrote that one.
Yeah.
But when I first did, but then I've been so blessed, and that's what I'll get into next. Been so blessed to be around cool musicians who are rodeo fans who have jumped in there and helped me so much. The Butcher, Bruce Smith, my gosh, Tommy, Heath Wright, Sparky Mateka, those guys from Skinner, those guys.
John Snyder.
John Snyder, yeah. And Hugh Mitchell. They've been such an encouragement. John Snyder's wife, the first time I met her, fell in love with her. We lost her a couple years ago or a year ago. And John's struggling. And I try to talk to John at least, once every couple of weeks, just check on him, see where he is. Great guy. I don't know John like I do Blue or any of them, but and he always answers back, and I'll tell him if I'm coming through there, I say, hey, you home? Because he lives over in Holden, Louisiana, and I'll go stay with him. I sat on this, that was a bucket list. I sat on this patio, played some music with John Snyder. He had 4 number 1 hits in the 80s. But I've been so blessed. So when I would write a song, none of the songs that I wrote are like they were when I wrote them, as far as tempo, melody.
Okay.
Like Red Eyed Lion was this birthday party sounding song about Donnie Gay. That was actually one of the coolest things I ever got to do. Well, let's go back. So I write the song. Tommy flies me and he said, you can have anybody you want to play guitar on this song. He said, we'll call Sparky from Skinner. I don't care if we get Slash from Guns N' Roses. I'll pay for it. I said, there's one guy, and that's Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith from the Georgia Satellites, the Butcher. And and he had been out of the business, but he had slowed down a lot, and I feel like we've become very best of friends. I mean, we don't go on vacation without each other. You know the story. I've mentioned it, but the Butcher has helped me more with my encouragement, imposter syndrome that I've always struggled with, because he was the same way. He's the most nervous guy you've ever seen until he gets on that stage,
Okay.
But he's helped me with my music. He'll change these songs around for me. Him and Tommy work great together. He's a big fan of Tommy Snyder. If you ever want to hear a great song, and this needs to go back on the list too, it's called While the Fiddle Gently Cries.
Okay. Yep.
Tommy Snyder writes it about Charlie Daniels dying. Tommy got COVID when Charlie died, couldn't go to the funeral. Charlie Daniels had actually started this song, is the way the story goes. And I'm getting about third-hand information here, but so, correct me if I'm wrong, but Charlie had started writing a song about Stevie Ray Vaughan when he got killed in the helicopter crash. It was called While the Guitar Gently Cries. So Tommy changes that while he's sick with COVID and couldn't go to Charlie's funeral, and he writes this song, and it is on YouTube. You can look it up, and it's a beautiful song. It's called While the Fiddle Gently Cries, and it hooked Bruce Smith. I mean, it hooked him. And it is an amazing song, and it's about Charlie Daniels and how Lady LaRue was what they call their buses, driving, no more driving through the night. And, it's a tearjerker.
Okay.
But it's called When the Fiddle Gently Cries.
Okay.
I moved into this music side. I had no idea where it was going to go, and and how it was going, and just had no direction whatsoever. So once I got the Coors Can deal out, and it was popular, he's played at a bunch of rodeos. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty neat seeing your video. We call some guys, and we got Tommy played on it. We got a guy from Atlanta there play play drums on it. Bruce flew out there. We flew Bruce out there to be in the video, and we got Richard Jones. We got Brad to come out and play drums, and we got Richard Jones to play bass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Richard's just learning to play bass, but it was a video. And you can see him the whole time, and it was so funny. Richard's one of my best friends. He's a sound director for PBR.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And I guess he wanted to play with me and Luke and everybody, so he really studied on playing bass for a year, you know, and he ain't gonna run no bass licks, but he could dang sure keep up with us, you know. So I called him. I said, "Hey, what are you doing Friday?" He said, "I got to go to Kansas City." He said, "I got to go Saturday." I said, "Well, I need you to drop through DFW." "Why?" I said, "I want you to be in this music video playing bass."
Wow.
And he said, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah.
And I said, "No, come on." So he said, "Hey, yeah." So we're walking up the street, and everywhere we're doing, you know, when you make a music video, you got to be the tough guy. You know, we're the Coors Can Barrel Man.
Yeah.
The whole time Richard, when he's playing, he's up there just smiling. We're like, "Cut, hold it, Richard." You know, the butcher, him and the butcher buddies, him and Bruce, and he's like, "Richard, you can't smile. You got to be that. You know, you got to be that tough guy." Okay. You know, he's this big old burly fella. And,
Yeah.
Hell, he's a big old teddy bear, and he wouldn't hurt nobody. You know,
Yeah.
he's just one of my best friends. I was so glad to get him on there, and they allowed it, you know, because he never got to do anything like, hell, I never got to do anything like that, if you think about it, you know.
Yeah.
But I wanted him to be part of it because it was so cool.
Okay.
So he does.
So
He's smiling, and it was the funniest thing ever when we shot this video.
Oh, that's cool. And that's what's up
Yeah.
on YouTube?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's him over there with the hat on.
Yep.
And them guys, yep.
Okay.
And,
because this link is will be in our listener notes. You got to go listen to
cool.
it. Could I?
Or go on YouTube and watch the video. It's even better. It
Yeah.
shows good wrecks. I kind of made it with all my Barrel Man friends. John's in it. I'm in it.
Okay.
Jason Farley, who, in my opinion, I have a picture of him on my wall, is the baddest ass barrel man besides Andy North. And, you know, of this generation, I mean, you can't compare anybody to Ted and those guys, but, you know, of this generation, those guys, they're, man, I want to be like them every day, you know.
You bet.
And,
you bet.
But,
no,
but
I've been listening to it a little bit, and could you sing us just a bit? So, and I'm going to encourage people, guys, listeners, gals, go check this out. This is pure rodeo,
my gosh.
dude. Pure rodeo.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess it is. Yeah. So yeah, like if I'm sitting right here, I just and when we started it was a little bit different. So
yeah.
You know, and it's like, because I'm a Coors Can Barrel Man, a rodeo clown, a real cool hand, rock and roll in the rodeo ring, unleash that beast, let me do my thing, coming in hot like a blazing smoking brand. I'm a Coors Can Barrel Man. So now, you know, them guys are like, hey, Coors Can, what's up? You know, I mean, that's kind of my nickname. It's Coors Can Barrel Man.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a great song, but my all-time favorite by far was the Donnie Gay song.
Donnie Gay. Do a bit of that if you would. I know we didn't talk about you singing on here, but that's just...
I know, but I don't... Hey,
you're in the music business now, dude. You're promoting.
You know, so I got to tell about this song.
Yeah.
Can you hear it okay on here? I guess you can. So
yeah.
I guess, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. But anyway.
What? No, I can't.
You can hear it. No, I know. I'm just giving you crap. I hate singing in front of it.
Oh.
So anyway, I write this song, and I was sitting there. I'll just tell this story. 1991, I went out on the road with a couple guys from around the house there, Brian Montgomery and his buddy from Auburn. They were on their September vacation from college.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls me one day and said, hey, Robbie, said, I want to, if you don't mind, we want to go rodeoing. I still ride bareback horses. It's 91. He said, we have the car and the gas. All you need to do, we just want to go with you and make a run out to Texas.
Okay.
So I called Procom. I said, they said, Procom, what's your car number? I said, 30642. Said, okay, how can I help you? I said, enter me on everything on page 22 and 23.
Because you were going to Texas, right?
Yeah. So we started out on a Thursday night and went to Harrison, Arkansas. And I had a horse called Scholes Baldy Socks. They've been to the NFR about 38 times.
Okay.
Louis Louis was 84 or 5 on him back in the 80s when you weren't 84 or 5.
Louis Fields. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Casey's pop. Greatest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So he threw me off so hard that birds built a nest in my ass before I hit the ground.
That's pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm stalling, Doug. I'm tuning this thing.
Oh, well, what are you tuning your guitar? What are you doing?
Yeah, because I played it till 3:30 this morning working on a song for a kid that went that's going to the NFR for the first time. I'm going to play him a song tomorrow night at his party. They asked me to play his going away party.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I had it detuned. Anyway, so I go the next night to Mesquite. I take him world famous Mesquite. Because let me tell you something, Sonny boy. Back in the 80s, and you know it too, you weren't a country music singer if you weren't from Nashville, and you damn sure wasn't a rodeo guy if Mama couldn't see you on Saturday or Sundays on Mesquite Championship Rodeo.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So we go to the world famous Mesquite Championship Rodeo. I won that rodeo.
Oh, nice.
And then the next night, I go to Palestine, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It was Donnie Gay's rodeo when he owned All Star Rodeo Company.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, so I get up there and I didn't know what horse I had, you know. And, well, I had me a Johnny Walters hopper. When I tell you a hopper, I'm talking about this thing jump in the air and hang there for 27 minutes and just let you have your way, you know.
Yep.
So I ended up with 81 or 2 on him, won the bareback ride. Well, that wasn't even the highlight of the night. The highlight of the night for me was, by God, I was going to get to hang out with Donnie Gay. And right then, my life was complete.
Okay.
Up till now, you know.
Yep.
So I said, he says, hey, that's a good ride. And I helped him during the bronc ride. I got to hold horses for Donnie Gay.
Yeah.
If he didn't need me to go back, I need you to shovel that pile of manure and put it in your trunk and leave it. Hey, we got to shovel manure for Donnie Gay. You know, it didn't matter.
Right.
I mean, he's the legend.
Yeah.
So we were sitting at the Holiday Inn bar, and here I am sitting by him. And for once in my life, I was treated like a guy that had won one of his rodeos because I did. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And it was not like I wasn't a fan. I was a player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
So I said, Donnie, I've watched you ride bulls my whole life. You're the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when you rode one away from your hand, you rode everything. But I said, when one went into your hand, I said, you're incredible. I don't believe they could throw you off. He said, let me tell you right now, Sonny boy. He says, he looks at me and he says, if one ever went into my hand, he said, if he went away from my hand, I was going to ride him.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, if he ever went into my hand, which for the listeners, into your hand, if you're right-handed, he spins to the right.
Yep.
You know, and you got somewhere you can get over and prop up and just let him have it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if he ever goes into my hand, he may never buck again.
Oh, my. Okay, yeah.
And I said, cocky Donnie, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to put it on him. So he said, I'm going to tell you, I could ride a red-eyed lion.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I just gushed. I was like, that's the coolest thing I'd ever heard. And it stuck with me. Now, this is 1990.
Yeah.
So about 3 years ago, I was sitting there and I was trying to do like a rock and roll song. I wanted to not be, I love Chris Ledoux. My God, who doesn't?
Right.
You know, or Kojo, which, you know, he was doing a few rodeo songs, but they weren't like distinctive rodeo like Chris Ledoux, you know, that we all had the tapes, you know, or even a Garth Brooks. But I wanted like a rock and roll song, and I wanted it to call the Tamer of the Red-Eyed Lion.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought that was cool. And it was going to be like, he's the Tamer of the Red-Eyed Lion. Well, that wasn't going to work, you know, because it would have never worked. Nobody would have understood it that would listen to it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I wrote all these words down to this song, and I get through them. And, man, it was just, you had to rodeo a little bit to understand the song.
Right.
And when I got it done, Tommy recorded it for me. I recorded a demo of it, and we sent it, and Bruce played the guitar on it. We sent it, you know, you can do that now. You just email them a track, and they email you a track back, and then you just, you know, punch it in wherever it needs to, and Bruce played it. It hasn't been released yet because I pitched it to Kojo because I thought somebody needs this song, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, Kojo's kind of went Nashville now, and he doesn't get to choose every song, which is fine. And I got to play it with Corblund at Janie and Salsa's wedding, Janie from the Cowboy Channel, when she got married. I got to play it with him, and he liked it. So, but they kept saying, no, this needs to be your come out song here. So anyway, it's called the Tamer of the Red-Eyed Lion. And I might I'll play you a couple verses of it.
And for our listeners, you can find it on YouTube, Tamer of the Red-Eyed Lion, The Legend of Donnie
Noel, it's
Gay.
on. It's not out yet, so you can find it on my videos on YouTube. I played it because here's why.
Am I on your channel, Buck's Bar and Grill? Is where
Did I play it there?
Yeah, it's where
it might be. Oh, I didn't know there was a live version of it.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
No, that's when I was okay. So if it's like a blue around the video's kind of got some blue around it. If you'll pick that one up, I did that because I wanted to shoot a video with Donnie Gay, and I was going to do like a white bed sheet screen of him watching his old videos from the 80s when he was just sticking it on everything that stuck their head out.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to do that. So, and then and have it at Mesquite. We're still going to do that. But I wanted some video. I had the distinct pleasure and honor of singing this song to Donnie Gay, about Donnie Gay, with Donnie Gay, for Donnie Gay.
Wow.
In there. And if you'll watch that one, the one on my YouTube, I'm on my Facebook, the videos where I'm playing it for him.
Okay.
He's in the audience. First time he'd ever heard it.
First time he heard it. Okay.
Ever heard it. And the guys are cheering, and it was that was a bucket list experience,
So
I got them all in there.
So you tuned up?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Can you hear the guitar? Can you hear the guitar at all?
No. But that's okay. That's okay. Play your guitar, and that'll give you go. Rock on, dude.
5'7" was a hell of a man. 8-second rides made him Superman. Didn't like his flair. They couldn't handle his fight. He won top buckle come Saturday night. He could ride. A red-eyed lion. And then it goes into the whole deal about him, I don't want to give it away, but, and that's kind of the way it goes. But when it first started, it was this. 5'7" was a hell of a man. 8-second rides made him super. And Bruce come in and said, nah, we're not going to do it like that, man. We're gonna do it like Midnight in Montgomery, like that eerie D minor.
Okay. Yep.
And that's where that whole, that changed everything.
So when is this song coming out, Robbie? When can we hear this?
I'm working on it. I'm kind of wanting to do the video of it. And I've got, now that I'm going to have some downtime, I want to record some stuff because before long, I'm going to have to break down and have some shoulder surgery. And I'm hoping while I'm down, I can still do some singing because I don't do any instruments when I'm recording. I have such good guys. It'd be ridiculous for me to try to play anything on it, so I'm probably going to have shoulder surgery in maybe March when it's slow in between there and rodeo season.
Okay.
So that's my plan.
I mean, then by early summer, what are you thinking?
Yeah, hopefully by early summer I'll have it released.
Okay.
We're going to release it with when I released Rodeo in the Rain, we took it back because the name Durangos, we're the Durangos, and I'm almost pretty sure there was another band, some kids that had a name like that. So we didn't take. So now we call ourselves Georgia Redbud. And
Georgia Redbud. Okay.
And we're right now the only thing holding us up, we're looking for a good album cover to put it out with, and then it's ready to release.
Okay.
So, but it's just projects. I've got Bruce Smith working on it. I've got Tommy. I got Jimmy Ginn as our producer on it, and he's so good, and what we're trying to do is get some of these songs into some movies, like when they call syncing for movies, and stuff like that. That's what we're kind of working on now, and it ain't for the money. It's just cool, and it's really built my career back up. I've had such a good resurgence with rodeos, and people used to tell me, now, Robbie, you got to figure out if you're going to play guitar or you're going to be a, country singer. No, actually, y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm going to do both. Right. Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, when it's y'all, when y'all doing y'all's deal, then y'all do it like y'all want to, if that makes sense,
And I saw in an interview, did you write a song about Bullet? We got to talk about Bullet again.
Oh, Lord,
did you write a song about Bullet?
I'm in the process
you're in
of
the
it.
Process. Okay.
Me and Bruce are writing this one together, and I got through the first verse of it, and it's just still too tough. I know it's a damn dog, but that wasn't just no dog, and it's tough. It's called 14 Years. You were mine for 14 years, and oh my gosh, it makes everybody cry, and you can't get through the damn thing. And it's just, it's just, so I'm getting better at it. We wrote a second verse when I was at his house the other day. When I go home, I spend at least 2 nights at Bruce's, just to, stay in the music deal. He enjoys it because he's kind of getting his wheels back under him playing music. I think he enjoys it. He may not tell you, He loves the satellite gigs, and he's so good at that. I got to tell you, talking about a bucket list, now that we're into music, okay, by far who my favorite band of all time is. Absolutely, 100%.
Absolutely.
Leonard Skinner.
Sure.
I mean, they are, if I was on an island, it's so funny. Paul Hamus will tell you the same thing. If I was on an island trapped, and I had one album I could play 24/7, it'd be One More from the Road, the live album. And let me tell y'all, folks, I know all of you probably heard of it. If you get the chance, sit down and listen to One More from the Road. The live version, it was done at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Okay. So here's this correlation we're reaching right here. Okay. So last year, about this time of the year, I get a phone call from the butcher, Bruce, and he says to me, "Hey man, guess what we just booked with Blackberry Smoke and Driving and Crying?" And I said, "What?" He said, "We just booked the Fox Theater." He said, "I've never got to play it before." And I said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, it's Blackberry Smoke's Homecoming." And Bruce was sort of influential to Charlie Starr with Blackberry Smoke. They're pretty famous now. And so they're really close friends. And I mean, they have been since Charlie was a little kid. So he said, "Yep. And I just found out that I got to hire a guitar tech, and guess who it is?"
Oh, wow.
I said, "Who?"
Yeah.
He said, "You." I said, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
So, I mean, sold out show at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I called Chris. I said, "You're not going to believe this." She's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because we were all, what I do, I go up to Pennsylvania and I spend Thanksgiving with her parents. And, I mean, her mom and her family, her dad passed away many years ago, but I go up there and that's my time with them. So I said, "Do you care if I leave the Thanksgiving Day and that afternoon?" "If you don't care, I've got the coolest gig I'll ever do in my entire life." And she's like, "Oh my God, no, it's fine. You're going to do the Fox?"
Yeah.
So, she's so encouraging with everything I do because, she gets to do some cool stuff too. And, like I'll give you an example. The boys came down to San Diego to play the Georgia Satellites. They made her the manager so she could get backstage. It was
I see. Okay. Yep.
Marshall Tucker, the Outlaws, Leonard Skinner, and Satellites. So they made her their manager, and they gave her a lanyard. So she walks around all over the place. Her and Rick Richards walking around there hanging out. I'm good friends with Randy Threep from the Outlaws. He's a bass player with them. And so he's walking around. He's like, "Krista, what you doing back here? Where's Robbie?" "Oh, he's gone. I'm just hanging out with the boys, Yeah. And when Skinner plays, they're always the headliner on those, And they like everybody off the stage, off the side stage, because there's a lot of stuff going on at a Skinner show. I get a picture. I'm at a rodeo. I get a picture of Krista and Rick Richards standing on the stage right by the piano. Peter Maserchi, Peter Keys, they call him, and right next to the microphone that they do Freebird with the Alabama flag on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how in the crap did you get? I ain't never even got to get close to that, So, but she's got to do a lot of cool stuff.
That
So
is neat.
anyway, back to the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
I go in there and I get all the guitars teched, and we actually used Leonard Skinner's bass player in the satellites because their bass player had some jaw surgery, and Bruce and Fred McNeil is the bass player in satellites. They swap bass and guitars back and forth with each other. It's a cool deal. So they just wanted, Bruce said, I'm just going to play guitar the whole time. So they got Keith Christopher, who is Leonard Skinner's bass player now. They got him to play bass for the Georgia Satellites. They were all, Skinner was off. So he says, I've never got to play the Fox Theater either. I'd love to play it. Because originally it was Keith and the Satellites.
Okay.
So he was an original member of the Georgia Satellites.
Okay.
He had John Entwistle from the Who's bass that he played.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, this was pretty fancy stuff. So here goes the funny part. And I haven't told a lot of people this, so I'm going to give it up out here on the World Wide Web. So I'm back there, and we had the little dressing room, of course, you know, and if you've ever been to the Fox Theater, the back there, I mean, it's this most majestic place. You can go on there and look at Fox Theater. It's crazy. It's in Atlanta. And, you know, that's where he said, play it pretty for Atlanta. And when you walk on that stage, Doug, it says in neon, play it pretty for Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
That's what Ronnie Van Zant said during Freebird.
Okay.
I'll send you the picture of me standing under that sign, you know. So, you know how big Skinner fan I am. So we all get through with all our sound checks. Well, all the guys go back to the, you know, they go back to the hotel or to the bus or whatever they were, you know, to hang out, get dressed. We had about an hour or two lull there, you know, at 6 after sound check till the show started at 8. So I'm back there, and I just walked kind of back through there, and I got a little video of, you know, me. Bruce was using about 3 of my guitars, too, and it was cool. So, dude, nobody is in the Fox Theater. I can't believe I'm telling this. I'm going to get banned for life. I walked out on that stage, empty house.
Yeah.
And I stood there a second, and that microphone was sitting there, Bruce's microphone, and I said, train roll on down the line. And I sang Tuesday's Gone on that stage.
Wow.
And I didn't do the whole song, of course, because I knew the cops would be there to tase me, but they wouldn't, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is the most childish, unprofessional thing you could ever, you know what I mean? It was just like a gunsel. It'd be like the dude putting on his chaps so everybody would see him in the, you know, way before the bull riding starts. It's a gunsel thing to do.
Yeah.
But I did it. And I sat there and I sang Tuesday's Gone on the same stage that Ronnie Van Zant did.
That is very
cool. And to me, you know, and it was just it was such an experience. And that was a bucket list.
Okay.
That one right there. And I said, I don't know how in the hell I'm ever going to beat this, you know.
Yeah.
And then the show went great. First song, Bruce's wireless quit, so I had to run across the stage and save the day.
Yeah,
It was just a dumb redneck dreams come true.
That is
exactly
so cool.
What that was.
That
you know,
is,
and I ain't going to lie, it was cool.
Yeah.
So we get through, and, you know, we're all sitting back there celebrating, watching the show, and you know, I'd only been to the Fox one other time. I didn't ever play it, but Bruce had never played it. We went and watched Skinner there, and all the people, Greg Allman, all these guys did one called One More for the Fans. And it was, or One More from the Fans, whatever it was. It's a great album. Blackberry Smoke's on it. Dwayne Allman, Charlie Daniels, Alabama. If you get a chance to look it up, it's called One More from the Fans, the tribute to Leonard Skinner. And then Skinner came out and played the last 2 songs. They did Sweet Home and Freebird.
Okay.
So, for just 30 seconds, I was Ronnie Van Zant.
Isn't that cool?
You know,
isn't that cool?
it was, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, it was pretty.
As we have seen, Robbie, from episode 1, you have done some pretty cool darn things.
You know, I've been very blessed, Doug. I'm not gonna lie. I have I guess, and this all attributes back to the bullying. You know, once you've been in that kind of situation, you're not scared of nothing anymore. You know, the good Lord, I guess he said, you know what? You went through hell for about, you know, 5 years there.
Mm-hmm.
Go do what you want. I'll stop you when I need to.
Yeah.
And you know, I've had the greatest life that anybody could ever have. And, you know, I'm 55, fixing to be 56 years old. I've enjoyed myself. The biggest thing I love is sharing my fun times. I hate doing cool stuff by myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
If I'm going to a NASCAR race, I want to take my buddies. You know, I want them to get to experience pit road. If you know, if I'm working it, you know, I want them to enjoy the same experience. Not that I'm showing it off, but I just want, dude, look where we are, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I've got to say, in these episodes, you have shared the fun stuff with us, and we appreciate.
Well, you know, there's been some tragedy. There's been some bad times. You know, it ain't been all roses and pool parties out here. You know, but I have I made some mistakes. I learned. You know, and that's what I try to tell these kids anymore. I don't know everything. I just have experienced a lot of it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And it's, as Blue Jeans said, Robbie, it's the little things I do. Just watch the little things, not the big things, you know.
Right.
But my goal is, the coolest things is getting the kids started, like we did with Matt or you know, Ryder Kisner, those kids, and then watching them win awards and watching, you know, them get the NFR and stuff like that. Because those are the guys right there that go, man, I couldn't have done this without you, you know. And that's what this whole mini series that you and I have done together has been about, you know, and I hope it hadn't bored everybody.
Well, I so appreciate the stories. 90% of them are new to me, hearing them for the first time. And and I'm very blessed that you've sat down and shared such great stories with us.
Let me tell you, of all the good stuff I ever did in my life, and we need to, you know, bring this, as my girlfriend would say, bring it in for a landing, Dad. We're you were a part of that, Doug. You were, you know, you were a great, and it wasn't no small part. You and I had a flipping good time when we did rodeos. We did stuff, we laughed, we cut up, and it was all this getting paid to be joking. You know, I mean, how the hell do you get this job? How are you so blessed to get to do it? And like I told you in the first one, and I'll tell them again, you were the easiest person to work with because you told stories and you announced like we're talking on here. And that was a trait I don't get to see. You were so unique in the way that you announced rodeos, so personable and everything, and it allowed me to enjoy the rodeos that I did. I smiled when you were there. Yeah. I still smile, and I don't have to call you every 2 weeks to re-up our friendship.
No, that's exactly right. We've had some great trips, some great travels together.
We have, and you know, and your career has been, you know, your career has been a success.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Done what I wanted to do, you know, and met a lot of great people along the way. Met a lot of great people.
I think you need to find your old pony and crank up the old, what was it I used to call that, the Doug Mobile? The Douglas Mobile. You've painted it about 16 times.
I have. But it's still going down the road, dude. We put it on the road in 2005. She's still running down the road. You drove that. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I drove it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I miss you. I miss having you out on the road. I miss going to the rodeos. And it's not going to be long, Doug, till I'm tired of, you know, the 18-hour trips and where I'm going to want to go and do. Yep. Maybe we should both just, you know, maybe we should do a Smokey and the Bandit run of it one time and just go.
We ought to.
I know great. There's some guys we ain't made mad enough to not hire us.
That's right. And don't forget, I got the Celica in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Birmingham at Barber Motorsports Park. So if you, maybe late notice, we talked about it, but I'm out and about going to a lot of different places. You got to come drive this. You will enjoy this.
Doug,
Yeah.
I about tore your go-kart up. If you think I'm going to tear up that $30,000 Celica, sonny boy.
No.
Yeah, I'll show you the
have
short
some
way
fun.
around.
You bet.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll do like I did on that go-kart. Man, you just get out of the way. Sit there and watch this. Hey, Doug, can you come over here and turn 6 and get me, please? Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
Doug, your family is my family.
Yep.
I love you like a brother. We've had some great, great experience. I don't think you and I have ever even had I don't even want to say crossword. I don't think you and I have ever had a time where we weren't smiling or something amazing didn't happen.
I would say that was so. Absolutely. No,
so lucky to have you as a friend, you know, and thank you for letting me share my world out here, you know,
we appreciate that. And you've given us some looks that most folks don't get to see. So that's been really, really cool for us, Robbie.
Well, about 45% of this stuff I've been telling is true. So let's just go with that.
All right. So I'm going to wrap this up, Robbie. It has been a hoot, and we'll talk. Maybe there's another 2-3 episodes here. I'm not sure. And I'm going to encourage you.
They'll boo us out of here.
I'm encouraging you. Facebook, PSAs, get on it. I'm here. I'll help you. Whatever you want to do. So, to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed our podcast as much as we enjoyed doing it. I think you can hear that from our conversations, that we truly do enjoy this. If you do, please share with your friends, right? Robbie, get it out there beyond the chutes. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, oh my goodness, Google Podcasts. And you can also find the Coors Can Barrel Man out there, and where all this music is streamed. Go listen to it. I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. Reminder,
thank you so much.
Reminder, check out the New York State Rodeo Museum Facebook group page and become a member. And we want to say thank you to Parasite Systems for your support on our podcast. Remember, we got a coupon, BTC023, for 50% off your testing specimen kits. And this is Beyond the Chutes with Robbie Hodges. Until next time, this is Doug Simcox. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you.